Have you ever seen a brand message that feels like it's trying to say everything all at once? Maybe it's full of buzzwords, long sentences, or ideas that don't quite connect. Instead of inspiring confidence, it leaves you confused, or worse, disengaged. This is the danger of overcomplicating your brand message. A brand message is like its elevator pitch. It needs to be clear, concise, and compelling. Yet many corporations struggle with this, trying to say too much and ending up saying very little. In today's video, we'll explore why this happens, how it impacts your brand, and what you can do to create a message that's simple, powerful, and unforgettable. So let's get started right now. So why do brand messages become overcomplicated? It usually boils down to three common issues. The first is trying to appeal to everyone. In an effort to cast a wide net, companies try to include something for every possible audience. But instead of being inclusive, this dilutes the message and leaves it feeling unfocused. The second is internal input overload. When multiple stakeholders, departments, or leadership teams contribute to the messaging, the result is often a mishmash of ideas that don't flow together. Everyone's voice gets included, but no one's voice stands out. And the third is overuse of industry jargon. Many brands fall into the trap of using complex, technical language to sound more credible. But in reality, this alienates customers who don't understand or don't care about corporate speak. Now let's talk about the cost of an overcomplicated message. What happens when your audience doesn't get it? The first thing that happens is confusion and disengagement. When your message is unclear, people tune out. If customers have to work too hard to understand what you're saying, they'll simply move on to a brand that communicates more effectively. The second is weak brand recall. Simplicity is the key to memorability. Complex messages are harder to remember, which makes it harder for your brand to stick in a person's mind. And the third is lost opportunities. A complicated message slows down decision making, both to your customers and your internal teams. Sales conversations stall, marketing campaigns underperform, and potential partnerships fizzle out because no one understands your core value. The good news is that simplifying your brand message doesn't mean watering it down. In fact, simplicity often makes your message stronger. Here's how you can achieve this. Step number one, define your core value proposition. Start by asking yourself, what's the one thing that we want our audience to remember about us? Focus on the value that deliver and strip away anything that doesn't support that core idea. Step number two, speak directly to your ideal audience. You can't be everything to everyone, and that's okay. Instead, tailor your message to your most important audience. Use language and examples that resonate with their specific needs. Step number three, cut the jargon. Replace industry jargon with simple human language. If a 12-year-old can't understand your message, it's probably too complicated. Test your messaging with people outside your industry to see how it lands. Step number four, use a message hierarchy. Organize your message into hierarchy, starting with the most important idea. This keeps your communication clear and logical, whether it's in an ad, a sales pitch, or a website headline. And step number five, test and refine. Finally, put all your messages out into the world and see how it performs. Use feedback and data to refine it over time, making it even more effective. Let's look at Apple as an example of a brand that excels in simplicity. One of Apple's most famous tagline is "Think Different." This phrase embodies their entire brand philosophy: innovation, creativity, and challenging the status quo. Apple's simplicity isn't just in their tagline, it's woven into every aspect of their branding. From their minimalistic product designs to their clean advertising campaigns, everything is stripped down to what's essential. For example, their ads often focus on how their products make life better, rather than overwhelming you with technical jargon or unnecessary details. This clarity and focus allows Apple to communicate their value effectively, making their brand one of the most recognizable and admired in the world. Simplicity isn't just part of their strategy, it's their superpower. An overcomplicated message can be the silent killer of your brand success. By simplifying your message, you make it easier for customers to connect with your brand, remember it, and trust it. If you're struggling with a message that feels cluttered or unclear, take a step back. Focus on your core value, speak directly to your audience, and keep it simple. Because in branding, less really is more.